Okay, ready to dive into something a little bit different today.
Sounds good.
We're tackling this article with the pretty interesting title, Older Men Don't Realize This Attracts Younger Women. Do This to Tempt Her. High Value Psychology.
Mm-hmm.
Now that title,
Yeah.
kind of screams clickbait, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
But we're all about going deeper here.
Right.
So what can we actually learn about attraction, regardless of age, from a piece like this? What does it get right, and where does it maybe oversimplify things?
Well, I think
Yeah.
it's a good question because the article does raise some interesting points about how societal narratives around age and attractiveness
Okay.
don't always match reality.
I see. Yeah.
For example, it argues that older men often underestimate their appeal to younger women.
Really, I would have thought. I would have thought the opposite was more common. Like older men might feel they have to kind of prove themselves.
Yeah, that's the stereotype for sure.
Yeah.
But the article suggests this insecurity might be misplaced. It argues that maturity, confidence, and the life experience that comes with age can be incredibly attractive, especially to those who are maybe tired of the drama that can come with less mature partners.
Ah, so it's not about chasing youth, but about the qualities that naturally develop over time.
Exactly.
Okay.
Think about it. Life throws a lot at you as you get older.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships, career challenges, maybe even some personal setbacks.
Right.
These experiences, while not always fun,
Yeah.
can lead to a level of emotional intelligence and resilience that you simply don't have in your 20s.
So you're not just older, you're wiser.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the idea.
Okay.
And this can be particularly appealing to someone who is still navigating those ups and downs themselves.
I see.
It's like the article says an older partner who's emotionally grounded can be a source of stability, a kind of anchor in the relationship,
Yeah.
rather than adding to the chaos.
Makes sense. There's definitely something to be said for someone who can stay calm amidst the storm. Now, the article also makes a big deal about confidence, not arrogance, being key.
Right.
And I can see how those two could get confused, especially if someone's trying too hard to appear experienced.
Yeah.
How do you see that distinction?
It's about genuine self-assurance, not needing to boast or prove yourself.
Okay.
Think of it like this. Someone who's confident walks into a room knowing their worth, engaging in conversations easily, carrying themselves with purpose. There's no need for loud displays or trying to dominate the space.
It's that quiet confidence that people always talk about.
Right.
But the article also gets into some pretty specific details, like mentioning well-fitted clothing and even having a signature scent.
Yeah.
Is this just superficial stuff, or is there something deeper at play?
I think there's a connection back to self-respect.
Okay.
It's not necessarily about the specific clothes or cologne,
Yeah.
but about the message it sends.
Yeah.
That you care about yourself, you present yourself well, you put effort into your appearance.
It's signaling to others that you value yourself. I'm really intrigued by this scent thing, though. Does that actually have an impact on attraction?
There's actually a lot of research on the psychology of scent. Women, for example, have a stronger sense of smell than men, and scent is powerfully linked to emotional memory.
Okay.
So while it might sound superficial, a well-chosen scent can actually trigger positive associations and even subconscious attraction.
So it goes beyond just smelling good.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
Mhm.
Okay, but let's move beyond the surface level. The article spends a lot of time on emotional intelligence, even suggesting older men might have an advantage here. Why would that be? Is it just about having more years under your belt?
It's not just about age itself, but about the experiences that often come with it.
Okay.
Think about it. Heartbreak, career setbacks, difficult decisions. These are things most people encounter as they get older.
Yeah.
And hopefully you learn from them.
Right.
You develop greater self-awareness, you get better at reading other people's emotions, you learn to respond thoughtfully rather than just reacting impulsively.
You're basically forced to become more emotionally intelligent if you want to navigate life's challenges.
Exactly. And that kind of maturity can be incredibly attractive, especially to someone who might be tired of the drama that can come with less seasoned partners.
Yeah.
The article uses this phrase, being the anchor in the relationship. It's about providing that sense of stability and emotional groundedness.
It makes sense there's a certain peace of mind that comes from knowing your partner can handle whatever life throws at them, emotionally speaking.
Right.
But it's not all seriousness and stability, right?
No, not at all.
The article also talks about cultivating a sense of adventure.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's crucial, regardless of age.
Oh.
It's about staying curious, engaged with life, open to new experiences,
Mm.
that kind of energy can be infectious.
Yeah.
And it shows you're not stuck in your ways or afraid to step outside your comfort zone.
So it's not about trying to recapture your youth, but about keeping that spark of adventure alive.
Exactly. It's about showing that you're still growing, learning, and excited about life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's attractive at any age.
Makes sense.
Speaking of things that are attractive, the article also highlights honesty and open communication as key factors.
Okay.
Why would those be particularly important, especially for older men?
Why is that?
I think it comes down to trust and security.
Yeah.
Older men might be more likely to have learned that games manipulation don't lead to fulfilling connections.
Right.
They've likely been there, done that, and realized it's not worth the hassle.
They're past the point of playing games and are more comfortable being upfront about their intentions and expectations.
Yes.
Okay.
And that can be incredibly refreshing for someone who might be tired of dealing with mixed signals or ambiguity.
Right. Makes sense.
Now, this next part really stood out to me. The idea of embracing a mentoring role rather than a competitive one.
Can you elaborate on that?
Sure, it's a fascinating concept.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to win every interaction or prove they're still in the game, older men can leverage their experience to offer wisdom, guidance, and support.
So it's about being a source of encouragement and growth rather than trying to one-up the other person.
Exactly.
Okay.
It signals a generosity of spirit and a desire to help others thrive. And that can be incredibly attractive, especially to someone who's still figuring things out in their own life.
It's almost like having a built-in life coach, but in a way that feels natural and authentic to the relationship.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's about sharing your wisdom and experience, not hoarding it or using it to assert dominance.
Okay.
And speaking of things that can be attractive, the article also mentions happiness.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Now, this might seem obvious,
yeah.
but why is being happy such a powerful draw, particularly for older men?
Wow.
We're naturally drawn to people who radiate positivity and genuinely enjoy life.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Someone who finds humor in everyday situations, doesn't take themselves too seriously, and brings a sense of joy to the table can be incredibly refreshing to be around.
Especially if you're used to dealing with people who are still figuring out their own emotions and might be more prone to mood swings or drama.
Exactly.
Yeah.
An older man who has found contentment and peace with himself can bring a sense of calm and lightness to a relationship. And that's a very attractive quality, regardless of age.
It's like that saying, happiness is contagious. You want to be around people who lift you up, not drag you down.
Exactly.
Now, this next part about leadership really piqued my interest.
Okay.
The article connects it to attraction, but not in the traditional alpha male kind of way.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's not about being dominant or controlling.
Yeah.
Instead, it emphasizes the ability to guide, make decisions, and take responsibility.
So more about being decisive, having a clear vision, and taking the lead when needed.
Precisely. And this doesn't have to be in some grand, sweeping way.
Yeah.
It can be as simple as confidently choosing a restaurant or planning a date. These seemingly small actions can signal a sense of security and direction that can be very appealing.
Yeah. Those little things can definitely make a difference.
Right.
Shows you're not afraid to take charge and make things happen.
Exactly.
Now, this next concept is one I've always found fascinating. Social proof.
Okay.
How does that play into attraction, especially for older men?
It goes back to how we perceive value.
Okay.
The article highlights how a man who is respected by his peers, admired for his work, and valued in his community naturally attracts attention. It's like a subconscious signal that this person is someone worth knowing.
It's like that halo effect you see with celebrities or successful people.
Yeah.
If everyone else seems to think highly of them, we're more likely to assume they must be special.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for older men, this can be particularly powerful. Years of experience in their field, building a strong network, and contributing to their community can create a powerful aura of social proof. It's not about bragging,
Right.
but about the reputation they've built over time.
It's like their actions and accomplishments speak for themselves.
Right?
Now, let's talk about a topic that often comes up when discussing age differences in relationships.
Okay.
Finances.
Yeah.
The article touches on this, but it frames it in a way I hadn't considered before.
Okay.
It's not just about being wealthy, is it?
You're right.
Yeah.
It's about responsible decision-making
Yeah.
and the ability to provide security.
Okay.
It's about financial wisdom and independence rather than just having a big bank account.
So it's more about demonstrating that you can manage your resources responsibly and create a stable life for yourself and those you care about.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
And this can be very reassuring for someone looking for a partner, regardless of age. It's not about being flashy, it's about showing that you have your act together.
Right, makes sense.
Now, the article also puts a lot of emphasis on independence in general.
Okay.
Why is that so attractive, particularly for older men? Imagine this. A man who has built a life he's proud of, with passions and interests outside of relationships,
Yeah.
and a strong sense of purpose.
Okay.
That's incredibly attractive because it shows he's not needing a partner to complete him.
Right.
He's welcoming someone into an already fulfilling life.
So it's about having your own thing going on, not being clingy or desperate for validation from a partner.
Exactly.
I see.
It signals strength and self-assurance,
Yeah.
which, as we've discussed, are incredibly attractive qualities.
Right.
Now, we've talked a lot about what older men can bring to the table in terms of attraction,
Yeah.
but what about communication?
Okay.
The article highlights this as a key factor that often distinguishes older men. How so?
I'm curious about that too.
Yeah.
It's not like younger men are incapable of communicating,
Right.
but maybe there's a certain depth or nuance that comes with experience.
I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Think about the communication patterns you might see in younger men. Sometimes impulsive, maybe not always as clear or thoughtful.
Right.
Older men, through years of experience, have likely honed their communication skills.
So they're better at expressing themselves, listening actively, and having those deeper, more meaningful conversations.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that can make a world of difference in a relationship.
Yeah.
Being able to articulate your thoughts and feelings clearly and engage in stimulating conversations can be incredibly attractive.
It's about being on the same wavelength, intellectually and emotionally.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's about feeling like you're truly understood and can connect on a deeper level.
You're right.
And remember that point we discussed about embracing a mentoring role.
Yeah.
This ties in beautifully with communication.
Okay.
Instead of constantly trying to prove themselves or compete, older men can offer valuable insights and guidance. They've been there, done that, and can share their wisdom in a way that feels supportive rather than condescending.
It's like having a built-in sounding board and advisor, but in a way that feels natural and authentic to the relationship.
That's a great way to put it.
Speaking of things that are authentic, the article also highlights a sense of purpose as being particularly attractive in older men.
Right.
Why do you think that is?
It goes back to that idea of having your own thing going on, having goals and ambitions that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
It shows that you're not just drifting through life,
Okay.
but that you have direction and intention.
I think it's inspiring to be around someone who's driven and passionate about their life. It makes you feel like you're part of something bigger, something meaningful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it ties into that sense of direction and stability that we talked about earlier.
Right.
A man who knows where he's going and what he wants to achieve is naturally going to be more attractive than someone who's aimless or uncertain. And finally, the article mentions patience as a key trait that distinguishes older men.
Oh, that's interesting.
Why do you think patience is so important in the context of attraction?
Is it about being more understanding and less likely to get frustrated when things don't go perfectly?
That's part of it.
Okay.
But think about the societal pressure, especially for younger people,
Yeah.
to rush into relationships.
Right.
There's this sense of urgency, like you need to find the one right now.
Yeah.
Older men, on the other hand, might have learned that good things take time. They're more comfortable letting things unfold naturally without forcing it or trying to rush into something before it's ready.
That makes sense, and I bet that patience translates to other areas of the relationship as well. Like being more understanding and less likely to get frustrated when things don't go perfectly.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's about having a more mature and balanced approach to relationships,
Yeah.
recognizing that they ebb and flow. Now, the article ends on a point that I think is really important. Self-perception.
Okay.
It argues that understanding and embracing one's value is essential, regardless of age.
I think that's incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing your own worth and not letting societal narratives dictate how you see yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The article suggests that too many older men doubt themselves,
Oh, okay.
assuming they're at a disadvantage simply because of their age.
Right.
It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
If you believe you're not attractive, you're going to project that energy, and it's going to affect how others perceive you.
It makes sense. If you don't
Right.
believe in yourself, why should anyone else?
Precisely.
Right.
But the flip side is also true.
Okay.
If you believe in your own value,
Yeah.
if you see yourself as attractive and worthy of love,
Right.
that confidence will radiate outwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's about owning your strengths,
Yeah.
being comfortable in your own skin,
Mm-hmm.
and recognizing that age is just a number.
It's about focusing on the qualities that truly matter.
Right.
Kindness, intelligence, humor, a good heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those qualities only get better with time.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground already.
Yeah, we have.
But before we move on to the rest of this article, I want to touch on one more thing it mentions.
Hmm.
Status and how it relates to attraction.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
That's a tricky one because it's easy to misinterpret.
Mm-hmm.
The article isn't suggesting that older men need to be CEOs or have some flashy title.
Right. It's not about material wealth or trying to impress people with your position.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead, it's about the status that comes from being respected in your chosen field or community.
I see.
It's about having a sense of mastery and accomplishment in what you do,
Okay.
whatever that may be.
So it's more about competence and the respect you've earned through your work and contributions.
Precisely.
Makes sense.
And that can be incredibly attractive
Yeah.
because it shows you're not just going through the motions.
Mm-hmm.
You're striving for something meaningful.
It's about having a sense of purpose and direction,
Right.
which, as we've already discussed, are highly desirable qualities.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not about the title itself, but about the substance behind it.
Okay, so we've talked about confidence, emotional intelligence, and even status.
Yeah.
But the article also dives into some unexpected areas like the power of vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
How does that factor into attraction, especially for older men?
This is where things get really interesting because it challenges some traditional notions of masculinity.
Okay.
The article argues that being able to show vulnerability, to let down your guard and be emotionally open,
Mm-hmm.
can actually be incredibly attractive.
But isn't there a fear, especially for men, that showing vulnerability makes you seem weak or less attractive?
That's the old school thinking, but I think that's changing.
Okay.
What's attractive is not putting on a front,
Yeah.
not pretending to be invincible.
Hmm.
It's about having the confidence to share your authentic self,
Hmm.
even the parts that might be considered imperfect.
So it's about being real, being genuine, even if it means showing some emotional scars.
Exactly.
I see.
And for older men who've likely been through more life experiences,
Right.
that vulnerability can be especially powerful.
Yeah.
It shows they've learned from their past.
Mhm.
They're not afraid to be open about their emotions.
Yeah.
And they're seeking a connection that goes beyond the superficial.
It's about letting someone see the real you,
Yeah.
the whole package.
Right.
Not just the polished facade.
You nailed it.
Okay.
And that kind of authenticity can be incredibly attractive
Mm-hmm.
because it fosters trust and intimacy.
Yeah.
It shows you're not afraid to be seen for who you truly are,
Right.
flaws and all.
Now, this next part of the article is a bit of a curveball.
Okay.
It talks about the importance of having a mission in life.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? Is this just some self-help mumbo-jumbo, or is there something deeper here?
I think there's a lot to unpack with this idea of a mission. It's not about having some grandiose plan to save the world,
Mm-hmm.
although that's great if you do.
Yeah.
It's more about having a sense of purpose,
Okay.
a driving force that gives your life meaning and direction.
So it's about having something you're passionate about, something you're working towards, something that gets you out of bed in the morning.
Exactly.
Right.
And this can be incredibly attractive
Mm.
because it shows you're not just drifting through life,
Yeah.
you have a fire in your belly,
Okay.
a sense of purpose that gives you energy and vitality.
It's that spark of passion that people find irresistible, regardless of age.
Right.
Yeah.
And for older men who likely had more time to explore different paths and find their calling,
Mm-hmm.
that sense of mission can be especially strong.
Okay.
It shows they've figured out what matters to them
Right.
and they're actively pursuing it.
It's about living with intention,
Exactly.
not just going through the motions.
And that kind of intentionality is magnetic.
Now, this next part of the article might raise some eyebrows. Okay.
It talks about the appeal of having a dark side.
Oh.
But before everyone gets the wrong idea, let's clarify what that means.
Right.
Yeah, this one definitely needs some unpacking.
Yeah.
It's not about being a bad boy or engaging in risky behavior, is it?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's about embracing your complexity,
Yeah.
acknowledging that you're not just one-dimensional.
Okay.
It's about being comfortable with the parts of yourself that might not be conventionally good or perfect.
So it's about earning your shadow side, the parts of yourself that you might not always show to the world.
Exactly.
Right.
And this can be surprisingly attractive
Yeah.
because it shows you're not afraid to be real,
Mm.
to be vulnerable, to
Mhm.
embrace the full spectrum of who you are.
It's about having depth,
Mm-hmm.
not being afraid to show your flaws and imperfections.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And for older men who've likely had more life experiences and have seen both the light and dark sides of life,
Mm-hmm.
this can be particularly appealing.
Yeah. It shows they've wrestled with their demons.
Okay.
They've come to terms with their own complexity.
Right.
And they're not trying to pretend they're something they're not.
It's about being authentic,
Exactly.
even if it means revealing some of the less than perfect parts of yourself.
You got it.
Okay.
And that kind of authenticity can be incredibly sexy.
Okay.
Now, the article also touches on a concept that I think is often misunderstood.
Yeah.
Polarity.
I'll be honest, this one threw me for a loop.
Okay.
What exactly does polarity mean in the context of attraction?
It's about the dynamic tension that exists between masculine and feminine energies, regardless of gender.
Okay.
The article argues that a healthy relationship thrives on this polarity,
Mm-hmm.
where each partner embodies different but complementary energies.
So it's not about conforming to rigid gender roles, but about recognizing the unique qualities that each person brings to the relationship.
Exactly.
I see.
And this could be especially important for older men who may have been raised with more traditional ideas about masculinity. It's about being comfortable with both your masculine and feminine sides
Mhm.
and allowing your partner to do the same.
Precisely. It's about creating a dynamic interplay of energies that keeps things interesting and prevents the relationship from becoming stagnant.
Yeah, got it.
Now, the article wraps up with a point that I think is crucial. It's all about how you perceive yourself.
This goes back to that idea of self-confidence, doesn't it?
Exactly.
The article argues that too many older men fall into the trap of believing they're past their prime or no longer attractive.
Yeah.
They internalize societal messages that equate youth with desirability and start doubting their own worth.
It's like they're buying into a limiting belief
Right.
that's holding them back from experiencing fulfilling connections.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But the reality is, attraction is a complex interplay of factors,
Mm-hmm.
and age is just one piece of the puzzle.
So what's the key takeaway here?
It's about challenging those negative self-perceptions
Okay.
and embracing your value, regardless of age.
Mhm.
It's about recognizing that you have a lot to offer
Yeah.
and that your experience, maturity, and wisdom are assets,
Right.
not liabilities.
It's about owning your worth and projecting that confidence out into the world.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because when you believe in yourself, others are more likely to believe in you too.
So we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
from emotional intelligence to vulnerability
Yeah.
to the power of self-perception. But before we dive into the next part of this article,
Okay.
I want to touch on one more thing that often comes up when talking about attraction. The role of humor.
Yeah, humor's great.
Yeah. How important is a good sense of humor, especially for older men?
I think humor is crucial in any relationship,
Hmm.
regardless of age.
Mhm.
But for older men, it can be especially attractive because it shows they don't take themselves too seriously.
Right.
They've learned to laugh at life's absurdities
Yeah.
and don't get bogged down by the little things.
It's about being lighthearted, playful, and able to find the humor in everyday situations. Yeah.
And it's not about being a comedian or trying to force jokes.
Right.
It's about having a genuine sense of humor and being able to share a laugh with your partner.
It's about creating a sense of joy and connection through shared laughter.
You got it.
Yeah.
And that kind of shared joy can be incredibly bonding and attractive.
Okay, so we've talked about humor, but the article also makes an interesting point about the importance of having a strong network of friends and family.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, this is about more than just being social, isn't it?
You're right.
Yeah.
It's about having a supportive community
Yep.
and a life outside of the relationship.
Great.
It shows that you're not overly reliant on your partner for all your social and emotional needs.
So it's about having a sense of balance and independence, showing that you have a rich and fulfilling life, even outside of the romantic relationship.
Exactly.
I see.
And for older men who've likely had more time to cultivate these relationships,
Right.
that strong network can be incredibly attractive. It shows they're not just focused on finding a partner.
Okay.
They're already surrounded by people who care about them.
It's about being well-rounded and having a life that extends beyond the confines of the relationship.
Precisely.
Makes sense.
Now, this next part of the article might seem a bit counterintuitive.
Okay.
It talks about the importance of being comfortable with solitude.
This goes against the whole idea of wanting to be in a relationship, doesn't it?
It might seem that way,
Yeah.
but I think there's a deeper truth here.
Okay.
The article argues that being comfortable spending time alone,
Mm-hmm.
being at peace with your own company,
Right.
is a sign of emotional maturity and self-sufficiency.
So it's not about being a loner, but about not needing constant external validation or entertainment.
Exactly.
Okay.
It shows that you're not afraid to be alone with your thoughts and feelings,
Mm-hmm.
and that you don't need constant stimulation from others.
It's about being content in your own skin, whether you're with someone or by yourself.
You got it. And that kind of self-assurance can be incredibly attractive
Yeah.
because it shows you're not clingy or needy.
Mhm.
You're comfortable with both connection and solitude.
And it probably makes you a more balanced and interesting partner as well.
Right.
Now, the article also touches on the importance of being a good listener.
Yeah, being a good listener is so important.
How does that factor into attraction?
I think being a good listener is one of the most underrated qualities in a partner.
Okay.
It shows that you're genuinely interested in the other person,
Mm-hmm.
that you care about what they have to say,
Yeah.
and that you're willing to give them your undivided attention.
It's about making someone feel heard and understood, which is a powerful form of connection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for older men who've likely had more practice at listening and engaging in meaningful conversations, this can be a particularly attractive quality.
Okay.
They've learned the art of truly listening, not just waiting for their turn to speak.
It's about being present and attentive, not just going through the motions of conversation.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's about making someone feel like they're the most important person in the room
Yeah.
when you're talking to them.
And that kind of attention can be incredibly flattering and attractive.
It is.
Now, the article also mentions the importance of being non-judgmental.
Yeah, that's a big one.
This is another one of those qualities that might seem obvious,
Right.
but it's surprisingly rare to find.
It is.
It's about creating a safe space where your partner feels comfortable being themselves without fear of criticism or judgment.
Exactly.
So it's about accepting people for who they are,
Right.
flaws and all.
It's about letting go of the need to change people or make them fit into your own mold.
It's about creating a space where people can be vulnerable and authentic without fear of rejection.
You got it.
Okay.
And that kind of acceptance can be incredibly liberating and attractive.
Now, I've talked a lot about the internal qualities that can make someone attractive,
Yeah.
but the article also touches on the importance of physical touch.
Right. Physical touch is important.
How does that play into the equation?
Physical touch is a powerful way to communicate affection, intimacy, and desire.
Okay.
It can range from a simple hug to a passionate kiss and everything in between.
So it's about expressing your feelings through physical gestures of love and care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about sexual touch.
Okay.
It's about those little touches that show you're thinking about someone,
Mm-hmm.
that you're drawn to them, that you want to be close to them.
Like holding hands, putting your arm around them, or just giving them a gentle touch on the arm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those small gestures can speak volumes about your feelings
Mm-hmm.
and create a powerful sense of connection.
It's about showing affection through physical touch,
Yeah.
which can be incredibly comforting and reassuring.
You nailed it.
Okay.
And it's not just about receiving touch.
Right.
It's about being comfortable giving it as well.
It's about expressing your love and desire through both giving and receiving physical affection.
You go.
Now, the article also mentions the importance of being generous, both with your time and resources.
Right. Generosity is a big one.
This goes back to that idea of having a generous spirit and a willingness to give without expecting anything in return.
It does.
It's about showing your partner that you value them and are willing to go the extra mile to make them happy.
Yeah.
So it's not about grand gestures or extravagant gifts, but about those small acts of kindness that show you care.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about being thoughtful, considerate, and willing to put your partner's needs before your own.
It's about being selfless and putting their happiness and well-being first.
You've got it.
Yeah.
And that kind of generosity can be incredibly attractive because it shows you're not just in it for yourself.
It shows that you're willing to invest in the relationship and make it a priority.
Precisely.
Now, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of the article.
Oh, yeah.
But before we move on, I want to touch on one more important aspect: the importance of being a good communicator.
Okay, yeah. Communication is key.
We talked about listening earlier,
Right.
but communication is more than just listening, isn't it?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Being a good communicator means being able to express yourself clearly and honestly, both your thoughts and feelings.
Oh, okay.
It means being willing to have difficult conversations,
Yeah.
to address conflicts constructively,
Mm.
and to find solutions that work for both partners.
So it's about being open, honest, and direct in your communication,
Yeah,
even when it's uncomfortable.
exactly.
Right.
And it's about being receptive to feedback,
Okay.
being willing to hear your partner's perspective, and being open to compromise.
It's about creating a safe space for open and honest communication,
It is.
even when things get tough.
You've got it.
Right.
And that kind of communication is essential for any healthy and fulfilling relationship.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive into the article.
Yeah, we have.
We've explored a wide range of qualities, from emotional intelligence and vulnerability to humor and generosity.
Right.
And we've talked about the importance of self-perception, of owning your worth and believing in your own attractiveness, regardless of age.
It's so important.
Yeah.
But there's still more to unpack.
Okay.
In the next part of our deep dive, we'll delve into some of the more nuanced aspects of attraction, including the role of power dynamics, the importance of shared values, and the secrets to creating lasting chemistry.
So stay tuned, folks. We're just getting started. All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive, it feels like we've gone way beyond the surface level of that initial article title, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So what are some of the biggest aha moments for you, looking back on everything we've talked about?
You know, I think the biggest takeaway for me is that attraction is way more complex than society often makes it out to be.
Okay.
It's not just about youth or physical appearance.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a whole constellation of qualities
Yeah.
that develop over time, like emotional intelligence, resilience, and a strong sense of self.
Totally. It's like that saying, with age comes wisdom, and maybe a better dating profile. But seriously, it feels like we debunked that myth that older men are somehow less than when it comes to attraction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, many of the qualities we discuss today are often more pronounced in older men simply because they've had more time and experience to develop them.
Right. So let's recap a few of those key insights for our listener.
Okay.
What are some of the most surprising or valuable things we uncovered?
We talk about how older men often underestimate their appeal, especially to those who value stability and emotional maturity.
Right.
We also discuss the importance of self-care,
Yeah.
not in a vain way,
Right.
but as a signal of self-respect and confidence.
Yeah. And we can't forget those deeper qualities, like
Right.
emotional intelligence, which often comes from navigating life's challenges and learning from those experiences.
It does.
Yeah.
And that whole idea of embracing a mentoring role rather than being competitive was really powerful. It's about sharing your wisdom and experience in a way that feels supportive and empowering.
For sure. We also talked about the importance of having a strong network of friends and family,
Yes.
having your own passions and purpose outside of the relationship,
Right.
and being comfortable with solitude.
Absolutely. And of course, we can't forget about the importance of humor, fun,
Yeah.
and maintaining that spark of playfulness in any relationship, no matter how long you've been together.
We've covered so much ground.
We have.
But one thing that keeps coming back to me is that idea of self-perception.
Mhm.
If an oldie man believes he's no longer attractive or desirable,
Yeah.
that's gonna show, regardless of his actual qualities.
Absolutely. It's like that saying, you become what you believe.
Right.
If you believe in your own value, if you see yourself as attractive and worthy of love,
Yeah.
that confidence will shine through.
It's about owning your age and experience.
Yeah.
Not trying to hide them or pretend they don't exist.
Exactly. Because those years, those experiences, that's what makes you unique and interesting.
It's what gives you depth and substance.
Precisely. And those qualities are timeless.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with a final thought-provoking question inspired by our conversation today.
Okay.
The article focused specifically on heterosexual dynamics.
Right.
But how might these insights apply to other relationship types?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think it speaks to the universality of many of these qualities.
Okay.
While the article targeted a specific audience, the underlying principles of attraction,
Yeah.
emotional maturity, shared values, genuine connection,
Right.
those transcend any specific relationship dynamic.
It suggests that regardless of gender or sexual orientation,
Yeah.
we're all drawn to people who make us feel seen, understood, and valued for who we are.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, isn't that what we're all searching for?
Yeah.
A love that celebrates our authentic selves and inspires us to become the best versions of ourselves.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive. It's been a fascinating exploration of the complexities of attraction and the power of aging gracefully.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to our listener, thanks for being here.
Yes.
Thank you. Until next time, keep those minds curious, those hearts open, and remember, age is just a number. The real magic is in the soul.